welcome to the final exam study guide for AP U.S. History. This is Mr. McCavanagh speaking, and I look forward to sharing with you some help via YouTube, and hopefully this helps prepare you and you can do really well on the final exam. To begin with, I am going to actually go over in this section of the review video the identification section. So let me go to maximize my screen for that. And I will zoom in. The identification section asks you to look at the list of 7 themes of the AP course on the left, and then pick 8 terms on the right. I'm giving you 16. You only need to pick 8, and explain in at least a paragraph for each term how they connect to the AP US History themes. So the AP US History themes are work, exchange, and technology. So anything to do with labor, or the growth of factories, or how people trade. Identity, how Americans view themselves as their own nation or part of another country. Idea, beliefs, and culture. So religious beliefs, any sort of cultural issues that become important. America in the world, how the United States gets along with other countries, whether we are fighting a war, or whether we are trading with other countries, or whether there are impressment policies has to do with America in the world. Environment and geography, how the United States interacts with its environment, and how that impacts people's decisions and lifestyles. Politics and power. Anytime laws are passed, compromises are made, elections happen, new political parties. This is politics and power. And peopling. Anytime new groups of ethnic groups or racial groups or gender get more rights or less rights or come into the country. Immigrants could count as peopling besides race and gender. So all those are the themes. Now the terms from this semester, I picked 16 of the most key critical terms. The 3 regions of colonies refers to the New England colonies, with colonies and then states like Massachusetts and Rhode Island. The Puritans refers to the group of religious people that settled the Massachusetts Bay Colony, the very strict people. Thomas Paine refers to the author during the American Revolutionary War that wrote Common Sense. Alexander Hamilton refers to the first Secretary of the Treasury, who was very instrumental in forming the financial program and stability of the country, and who was tragically killed by Aaron Burr in a duel. The Peaceful Revolution of 1800 refers to the peaceful transfer of power without violence for the first time in American history, but not the last time, of one political power switching over to another. The Missouri Compromise refers to the 1820 agreement over slavery during the era of good feelings, where President James Monroe was in power and Henry Clay was in Congress, and together they made an agreement to establish the 3630 geographic line, where any future states added as part of the Louisiana Territory would be northern free states, and anything below that would be southern slave states. The Second Bank of the United States refers to the renewal in 1832, the renewal fight between Democrats and Whigs over Alexander Hamilton's original idea, and you should remember how Andrew Jackson felt about that with his big veto. The Trail of Tears refers to the forced removal against Supreme Court decision of the Native American people. And the Second Great Awakening refers to the second religious movement that involved more politics and a group-oriented idea, where people felt like they had to push a particular issue that they cared about. So they felt they were so passionate about their religious faith and spreading Christianity that they wanted to spread it to other people and also make the world a better place through their Christianity. So they would join the abolitionist movement. Many abolitionists were also very strong Christians. Or they would join the temperance movement. Many people in the temperance movement did so, particularly women, because they wanted to make society better. Manifest destiny refers to the philosophy of westward expansion, that God ordains the United States as a special Christian nation supporting the spread of their religion and government to the West. Popular sovereignty was an important term that meant giving states the decision to run their own governments, and it was used specifically in the late 1840s and into the 1850s to let states decide whether to have slavery or not. Utah and New Mexico were allowed this in the Compromise of 1850. And then also Stephen Douglas would put forth the idea in Kansas and Nebraska. That leads into the Kansas-Nebraska Act. This was the idea of Stephen Douglas, who was a senator from Illinois, and he thought popular sovereignty should be used in Kansas and Nebraska when they are admitted as states to the Union. And this caused a big fight because slavery supporters would run into the state and free state supporters would run into Kansas and Nebraska as well on election day, and they would fight each other to see who could make Kansas and Nebraska their particular slave state or free state. The resolution of this was the Lecompton Constitution, which supported slavery at first, but then it would later be replaced by a free constitution. The Fort Sumter was significant because that was the first battle of the Civil War when South Carolina chose to attack President Lincoln's ship of supplies that was meant to provide food and other essential materials to the Union soldiers there. And following the Battle of Fort Sumter, several states joined the Confederacy in seceding. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued in 1862 and took effect in 1863 by Lincoln following the Battle of Antietam, where only slaves in the Confederacy would be freed because Lincoln did not want to lose the support of the border states, and he also did not want Great Britain and France to join the side of the Confederacy. So he was playing a compromise and a middle-of-the-road approach here and being a politician. Freedmen's Bureau was, during Reconstruction, was the education agency of the federal government that would help former slaves, so freed blacks in the South, transition to a life of freedom by getting them educated and learn how to read and how to vote and how to hold a job. Southerners really did not like this organization because it gave more rights and freedom to blacks, and groups like the Ku Klux Klan terrorized this organization as well as freed blacks. And finally, the Radical Republicans were the group in Congress who overrode President Andrew Johnson's vetoes to pass things like the Freedmen's Bureau, the 14th Amendment giving equal citizenship, the 15th Amendment giving equal voting rights. They ran the country during Reconstruction until 1877 when they chose to stop Reconstruction. But during that time, they would make sure that there are rights and freedoms given to Southern blacks after the Civil War. Hopefully this helped. If you need to get in touch with me for any reason, please watch the other videos related to the document analysis section and the short answer section. Good luck.